Good morning. Do you have a tube wringer? I'm wringing this tube of Gamblin Portland Gray just so I can get to it. So it rings the paint up. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the first pass of the commission. So I'm going to take my Liquitex. Here's a cleaner one. My Liquitex palette knife, and the big one looks like a pie shaper, and start to skim with white. You know, I'm a big skimmer. I'm just going to coat the first layer with a thin skim. I'm using Cobra White, titanium white. There's a little bit of blue and such mixing in, but that's okay. We're just skimming. First coat, nice and thin. I'm just going to put it right on the knife, right out of the tube. A really hard skim, it's really thin. I don't worry about the edges right now. It's really loud. I want it thin. All the magic's coming later. If some of that tone comes through, that's okay. I'm not trying to get it exactly perfect. So about right in here is where I'm going to have the mountain-ish area from the detail of the painting that they liked. They didn't like the whole painting, they liked the detail. So what do you do? It's a commission. So right in here is going to be where I'm going to stop at this particular junction. So that's my dividing line between the sky and the mid-tone mountain, or more clouds, or lower sky, whatever that's going to be. It's abstracted, so we'll see what it's going to be. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to wipe off my knife, paper towel, and I'm going to go into my pre-mixed white with a little raw umber and black and a little Portland Gray by Gamblin. That's what I was squeezing out of the tube earlier. It's getting low. So, okay, so now I'm going to start to throw this on there so it grabs, and that'll be similar to the color I want. It's a little dark. I think it's too dark gray, but I'm going to put more white in it. So we're going to be doing a little mixing on the canvas. Might as well use all this up on the edges. Skim that some more. The edges are always a problem. That's why you have the rubber shaper. I've got my rubber shapers here to help me with the edges. Or, of course, my finger would do too. Okay, let's get some of this covered here. Take this rubber shaper and work the edges. I'm going to continue with this larger palette knife for a while. Skim it some more because I think that the color's too dark. So since the color's too dark, I'll just go right into the white. And I can get rid of what's on my knife here. I don't have to wipe it off. Okay, I'm just going to put it right on the knife because I need a lot of paint. It's a big painting. And we're just going to work it in little by little. Edge it in a little. Until it's exhausted. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. So it looks polka dotted for a reason. I'm going to change knives. Okay, so now I'm going to my skinny Liquitex, the long skinny. I'm going to start to make this look abstracted sky-like. Start at the edge here and do what I call the pat grab. It's basically mixing on the canvas. And this can take quite a while. That's why we're doing it in stages. Mixing all over so I don't get bored. More white in here. So I've got in the chat exactly what I'm doing again in verbiage. So you can go back and read that. Okay. So let's put some more of this gray blue cobra here and there in the sky. So it interrupts the flow and keeps the edges a little softer. Okay, now take the clean knife and let's keep going. Up and down. Pat grab, pat grab, pat grab. On the blade, on the blade. Other side. I'm right-handed, so I tend to go to the right with a maybe 20 degree angle. Then you can go to the left, 20 degree angle. I don't have as much control, which is good. If you want it abstract, you don't want the control. I want to keep it loose. If you want to get more realistic, you can slow down and get a very realistic graduated pass of paint. But at this point, I just want a very abstracted blue sky. Let it mix on the canvas. If I want to scrape it up, if I don't like it, I'll scrape it up and re-deliver. I like to grab the paint from the edges and use it. This could take up to 20 minutes, but I'm not going to take that long because it is being taped and you can get bored quite easy. I'll just do enough to show you how to transition from the gray to the blue. This is canvas, it's flexing. I like that. It seems to have a rhythm with my knife. It's like a dance. I'm going to grab up some of this blue and redistribute it down here. Sometimes less paint is better. Skim that there since that's going to be mid-tone. Keep going. If the paint gets too thick, just use it down there. So I want to transition from the sky into this mid-tone range that might be mountains or something. So I'm just working on this transition here. Transitioning the sky to the mid-range of earth or mountain. Or it could be water, whatever. This is, I'm not worried about it right now. We're just doing what the client wants and what I think works for them, which is atmospheric, abstracted feeling of something. So this is transitioning nicely from the gray-white to the blue-gray. Softening the edges. And then I can go back up there in a minute. If I want to get some of the abstracted knife marks out, I just zip it across real fast. I like some of the edges. That's what makes my work more interesting, I think, to me. All the little marks of the palette knife and what I call the gaps and the stutters and the in-between places. So that's pretty good. I think, you know, this, we can just pretend that there's a mountain range there. Can draw it back in if we want, just to give ourselves a clue where to stop. Okay, so I'll go back to the top, clean my knife of the blue-gray. I like the transitioning here, so now I can just start to work on the sky and get it the way I want it. I like the luminosity that's coming from the raw umber, the Portland gray, a little tiny bit of black. Of course, the white is the mother color. I want it whiter to transition to the mountain range. I can lighten it and let it work itself in, keeping that texture I like of the knife. Still got some white on there. I'm just gingerly letting it come off the knife and mix and grab onto the wet paint. It's the grabbing that I'm after. I wanted to grab and do these things that are so interesting to the knife work. I want to see some of the gaps that occur. I'm going to clean it off. Start again. The cleaner the knife, the more control you have over what's there. Of course, if you need to add paint, you just start to add paint. Get another paper towel handy. You add paint. If I want it lighter there, just add it. Add and subtract. Just say if there's a sun behind that cloud, then I would brighten that up by adding the paint onto the prior paint. Okay, let's keep going. Bringing all the paint off the knife as I go. This one over here. Just want you to see this transition from the lighter white gray to the bluer gray. Of course, you could leave some of these marks if you want, but you know, I'm probably going to make it more atmospheric since it's sky. More blended. That way, when this sets up and I do the next pass of blue in here, this is already soft, so I don't have to do too much to soften it again. So this could take sometimes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but I think you see where I'm after. I'm after this light transition. A lighter to a mid-lighter. It's not quite, it's subtle. And if you've been in the mountains a lot and seen the light on the clouds and the mountains meshing together, it's very, very close, similar values. So you want this to be interesting to that look. Same thing happens at the seashore. So, like the client said, the husband of the client, it could go either way. He's happy with the color. If the colors are right, he's happy with that abstract look. As I told you, I did a very realistic painting for their house with a moon and a sunset and a cabin and trees. Of course, he kept telling me to look at Corot, the famous artist that, you know, I'm no Corot, but that's who he likes the best of a dead artist. And he kept saying, make it more like Corot would do. I said, okay. So we got him happy. I like the texture, so I'm just sort of smoothing it out. A little bit there. I think I'll add some more white in here. And then I'll work up there again because it's a little bit more pinker gray, or warmer gray, I should say. He didn't want pink in the painting. No pink. So I love these little things that happen. And that only happens when there's paint to grab into. And you can feather it, just tap it, make it more cloud-like. Okay. All right, let's go up in here and transition. I might make that a little bit more quiet. This is a little busy. Make this a little quiet, so I just tap it with more pressure. And you can really see the color start to be illuminating. It's more luminous. The more you mix it on the canvas, the more you do this, it becomes, I think, glossier, luminous, softer, I guess. Some of that gold tones coming through of the transparent orange underneath, and that's good. Just little bits of it. Not a lot, but just enough to make it interesting. So I'm going to go over here, and hopefully you can see this. Hope I'm not in the way of the camera too much. Softening that by patting it and scraping it. And I'm saying to myself, let's quiet this down so this will play up. If I wanted to really make it quieter and softer, I could do that floppy paper towel thing and get the edges softened. That's another look, another transition look. That's probably all it needs. Go diagonal, and then you just have to work those palette knife marks out by just being very, very light touch, almost like it's falling out of my hand, and you just pat it. If you don't like it, just flop the paper towel on it, get it even more interesting. You have to take that paper towel and kind of bend it like a flower. You don't want to get it hard. You don't want to wipe it out. That's a no-no. You just want to move the paint around. Great way to do realistic clouds. I think I did a demo once for you guys with the floppy paper towel. Okay, it looks like clouds are moving abstractly. Okay, now I need to go back and look at it a little bit, but I think that's where I'm going with this first area of this painting for you to see how it goes. At this point, you don't want to mess up what you've got. You want to look at it and see where to go. I want to make this a little quieter, flatter, quieter, so this little area stands out like a cloud. That we could do that. There are so many things about abstract work you have to remember. A quiet area really enhances a busy area. This being more busy right now than this, so it plays up better. Quieting this area so it plays up is a technique that I think works really well with this kind of work, with palette knife work and atmospheric work that's more transitional and transcending from realism. It transcends the subject to, there's a little dark mark, but I'm trying to make that look like it's supposed to be there. That looks good. Another little dark mark there. Why not? Just play with it. Okay. Clean the knife if I see something I want to pat to make it more interesting, so that you have a clean blade and doesn't muck up the paint. So I'm getting some nice marks from the palette knife that actually look like clouds. This one is a little tricky. Fix that. Okay, so if I want to go back into the blue and make it bluer, I'll just do a little bit here to make it look like a different cloud or a mountain going into the clouds. You know, I can go into the blue, the gray blue, right straight out of the tube. Cobra makes this great, already mixed gray blue. It's just fantastic color for mountains and seashore things. So then I can just play with this blue to transition, you know, in between those cloud looking whites. So that could happen. And if I want to clean it up, I clean the knife and again quiet it, work with it a little bit. That's why I love this skinny knife. It has so much possibilities. The tip, the whole blade, just in a little feathering of the first 1/2 inch of it is nice. It's a great tool, and if I really keep my hand loose with it, it has grooves where I can keep my hands in the grooves there. I can really participate with the knife in a complete way. Let it do its thing. I mean, it's almost falling out of my hand when I do some of these feathering things. Okay, I think that's probably enough to do to show you the possibilities of cloud, gray clouds that still have a lot of luminosity, bumping into the mid-range. And I'm going to let it go. I'm going to soften some of these edges just because I'm going to let it dry for it to come back and help you understand what comes next. So I don't want this transitioning of paint into the orange to be so thick. So just smush this out so that the next layer won't have a grid of paint, or not a grid, but a lump. Okay, so that's good. I hope that you will follow along or do your own thing with some of these techniques, and I'll see you on Masters Chat. Bye.